Should I play like intro music or something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Do it.
You don't want me to play my intro.
This way I can hear this.
Okay.
As long as okay. Okay. We have a 20-second delay.
Okay. Are we on yet?
Yes, we are live.
We're live. Do we need the intro music still?
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The danger zone. There you go. So we're finally on.
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and post that right now, so that everyone else that was trying to watch can join in now.
That's right.
Jump in, Sherry.
Okay, well, today, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are, what you do?
Name's Jeremy, also known as the NobleBeard. I'm a proud boy. I've just an American patriot who loves this country, who's tired of seeing it fall into the hands of the communists and Chinese control. So, I guess, the Proud Boys are kind of, if you look back in history, you look at like the Sons of Liberty. There's never been another group that's more political than the Proud Boys, and that's the Sons of Liberty. So we fashioned ourselves after that. Our Boston chapter is actually called the Green Dragon chapter, because we're just super patriots, man. That's just kind of the way we feel. We love this country, we love this nation, and we don't want to see it fall into the hands of anyone that doesn't appreciate it. So that's what we're here for.
Right on.
Trying to save the West.
Yes, for sure. And we wanted to have this meeting with you because we're tired of seeing some things going on as well. What do you? Oh, she's sending out the messages. So
Don't pay attention to me.
Yeah, so we're tired of seeing some things going on, especially around conservative women and how kind of verbally abused we've been lately. If we have any kind of an opinion that's outside the mainstream media or liberal, then we don't matter, or our voices should be voided concerning or when other people are concerned. So what do you think of when you hear, first of all, the word feminist? Because that's something that...
Feminist. Yeah. There was a woman in the comments earlier when I posted this link on Parler who, she said, they lost me at the word feminist. And I'm like, you got to open your mind as to what they're trying to do here and what they're trying to achieve. The word feminist has been, obviously it has been branded with an evil over, undertones. And when you think of feminist, you think of a green-haired, liberal, screeching, like freak,
right,
who hates all men. And unfortunately, my idea on what you ladies are trying to do is you're trying to celebrate being conservative women. And honestly, our women are better than their women.
Right. Amen.
Hands down. 100%.
I've actually tried dating a liberal once. And, it didn't work. Didn't work out that well.
Yeah.
There was just constant tension. But I appreciate what you guys are trying to do, and steal the word back. And that's it's kind of like what we did. If you hear us in our you'll hear us scream "uhuru" a lot. I don't know if you know where we get that from. But there was a black supremacist video that went around on social media a few years ago, where this little gay black guy was going around around, had all these white people talking about how they needed to pay reparations, and they were going to get it, and they're coming to take the reparations. And he kept saying Uhuru is the Uhuru Solidarity movement. And so we took that saying, because it means freedom in Swahili. We took that saying and made it our own, and now we own it. So I see what you guys are trying to do there, and I like it. If you take it back, take the word back, because the word doesn't belong to anyone.
It
the
doesn't.
word is not property. There are certain words that you can't. Nobody owns a word, unfortunately. So you can take it and make whatever you want out of it. So, like when I think of women, especially the conservative women these days, I see them. The patriot women are out in masses, like in D.C., and they weren't scared. They were out there. I mean, we had women that night when we cleaned up the streets in D.C. There was women marching right there with us. We had a badass woman with us, and she was absolutely. When the scrum went down, and when we finally got Antifa cornered and tried to push them out of the city, and they came in to attack us, this woman absolutely laid dudes out. I mean, throwing knees and just beating the snot out of these little femboys. And so our women these days are different. And a lot of times, unfortunately, the Proud Boys can get a very bad name when it comes to women. They say we hate women, that we want to lock them all in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. And that's not at all what we think the modern woman should be. We have a saying, it's venerate the housewife. And when we say venerate the housewife, what we mean is if a woman chooses to stay home and raise her family and raise children and shape our communities and do all the things that they've done, since the beginning of time, women have been the backbone of the community. If they stay home and they choose to do that, then we honor them for that, because unfortunately in today's day and age, they're looked down on as slaves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not the case. A lot of women love that. They love their family. They love their children.
And that's what women empowerment is about, is being able to have that choice and not, being ostracized for that.
Yeah, and so we're all about that. Now, if a woman chooses to go out into the workforce and have a career, we're not saying that that's a bad thing at all. But we are saying that in today's day and age, to venerate the housewife is to honor them for choosing to stay home and do that stuff, which is almost against the grain these days.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to stay home and raise kids.
Right?
Yeah. So I think, unfortunately, being a conservative woman these days, you guys are outnumbered. What was it? 56% of women voted Democrat?
Yeah, I registered Democrat, 56 females. But it's funny that you say that, because there were actually 17 new GOP women elected in the House this year. So I feel like that there's some change brewing, and I feel like that people simply are not, or kind of afraid to voice that they are conservative, especially women, because they've been taken to task that they're not, really for empowering other women or for women's rights if they're conservative.
Yeah, and see, that's where it comes in. Like with the president, they say, oh, he hates women. He has more women in his administration than any other president's ever had. So you can't, no matter what they do, there's always a way for us to counter it. But unfortunately, logic doesn't lie in their brains very, very well. It doesn't dig into those neural pathways in their brains, and they just don't understand what we're trying to explain to them logic.
Yeah. Or they don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. So, no, but I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, and I think women should have a voice, and I think you have a right to take back whatever word you want. So I like that you're going to just take that word back. I think you should own it. You should trademark that son of a bitch. Just put your stamp on it.
Yeah, we definitely will, because we want this platform for all of us conservative ladies out there, those of us that like to carry guns and fight next to our brothers, and and we're patriotic too.
Yeah.
We love it.
Well, I've seen so many on just Parler and Instagram and everywhere that There's so many patriotic conservative women out there that are just like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? You know, and so we really, like, I've seen so many of them that are just fired up and they don't have an outlet for that. So we really kind of want to unite and make this incredible force of conservative women and get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've got a group. It's called the Proud Boy Girls.
You know what? Okay, so I would like to point out that I have tried to look for that. I've tried to talk to people about that. It's like this mystical unicorn that doesn't actually exist.
They live in the ocean. They come out singing.
Listen, it exists, but so you can imagine we've probably got somewhere near 40,000 members, now at this point. So you take 40,000 alpha males and you throw them into a group. You can imagine sometimes there's some drama, right?
Sure,
there's
a little bit.
Internal dramas. Now you take those women and you throw them in a group together. You're going to amplify that by a little bit.
True story.
So unfortunately, sometimes the groups have not been very cohesive. But no, I think we're actually now that we've become such a household name, I believe that we're going to be able to kind of expand on that. You can find, like, on Parler, there's a page, Proud Boy Girls. I feel like my pee is picking up here. There's a group called it's the Proud Boy Girls. It's on Parler. You can follow the page there. They will be, I'm sure, going to be organizing some more now that there's more people involved. I mean, the amount of fans that we've gotten and supporters is just insane. I'd never thought. You know, what's funny to me is I've got little old ladies coming up to me at the grocery store. Like last night, I was driving back in from Atlanta from the Capitol building. We were holding that event down there at the Capitol building in Georgia. And I was driving back in and I stopped at the grocery store and I still had all my PV gear on. And I walked in and this little old woman came up to me and she said, "Are you one of those Proud Boys that I saw in Washington?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she literally whipped out her iPhone and was like, "Can I please have a picture with you?"
Aww.
And I'm sitting there thinking, I mean, she was, late 60s, early 70s. I'm sitting there thinking, a year ago or even, 6 months ago, I would walk in and nobody would know what any of my gear meant, what anything I had on said, and now we're being recognized. And so just to know that there's that many, there's conservative women still of that age. Of course, I do live in the South, so there's a bit more conservative women down here than there is up north or out west. But, they're waking up and they're actually not afraid to say anything anymore.
Yeah,
which is good.
Which is amazing. It's amazing.
Because your friends, movement. I'm sure you guys have friends that are probably like, how do you feel that? How can you feel that way? How can you like Trump? Or how can you support this guy? He hates women.
I don't respect you because of the way you voted. Wait, what?
Right?
Yeah.
You're like, have you read the policies of the other people?
Right? Yeah.
No. They don't read policies. They just watch MSM.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
What they do, so.
And that's so destructive at this time right now.
Yeah, and I think conservative women need to really come together.
I agree.
And put aside the cattiness, and that can happen when women get together. And I mean, literally, I've seen converts recently. A friend of mine, she has a YouTube page, the Polish American Brotherhood. 3 months ago, she was an absolute Trump hater.
Yeah.
They started attacking a statue that meant a lot to her and her heritage, and the Antifa did, and it completely woke her up. She started doing her own research, and now she's out there in D.C. with us, marching around, tearing down BLM signs from BLM Plaza in the middle of the night by herself.
Yeah.
She's walking around and tearing down signs. So it just takes, obviously, it's kind of dangerous to do that. Physically, you can get yourself in trouble.
Right.
But and then we've got I don't know if you know who Bev Beatty is. She's the woman that was pouring the paint on the Black Lives Matter thing in New York City. Well, she got stabbed a couple of weeks ago with us in D.C. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah.
But myself and Enrique were there that night. We were in the middle of the scrum when the guy pulled up a knife. And he went right for a woman and stabbed a woman over.
Great.
All of us standing there, he went right for her.
They're like super
classy.
classy.
Because they're cowards.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So there is really great conservative women out there to follow and emulate. And
there are.
I think Yeah, and it's just going to take people waking up, and I think finally having a spot like Parler, which is an awesome. We've been waiting for this for 3-4 years now. Once I originally started getting banned for posting anything on Facebook, I mean anything at all, they finally just disintegrated my whole account. 13 years of my family photos and all that stuff, just wiped it out. But we've been waiting for something like this. We've been waiting for our own area where we can say what we wanted freely. So I think women need to start networking on Parler, and
exactly.
as soon as they come up with the having groups and stuff on Parler like they did on Facebook, I think conservative women need to come together, group together, and obviously try to network as best as possible and build your own marches and do that sort of stuff.
I
obviously, you've got a voice, use it, and now we've got a platform that they can't take away from us, and it's
amazing.
It's been phenomenal. So,
and another word that we need to take back is woke, right? Because everybody that's actually woke can see what's going on, and they're here in Parler. So,
yeah, you're right. I mean, they stole that stuff. See, they think they're so woke, and it's like, no, you're actually asleep, man. You're just watching. You're zoning out like a little slave, watching your MSM, and they're telling you Trump, Orange Man bad, and whatnot. So yeah, it's I think there's a lot of terms we need to go ahead and take back.
Exactly.
So that's definitely one of them.
I agree.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here reading the comments, and I'm loving these women, and they are like God, grits, and glory over here. I love them.
Yeah, they are some definitely amazing women. And hey, give a shout out to the MMA lady that went out with you. Oh,
Tara LaRosa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
she's a bad girl. She's a bad girl.
Yeah.
You got look her up. She's got an MMA record, I think, like 22-3.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll be keeping our eyes on you, Tara, because this is amazing. Thank you for doing that and standing up with these guys. And you guys, I really want to encourage everybody to come out and, like you said, start our own marches and come out and be a support system for you guys and have our voices heard, for real.
Yeah, you what I've learned over my 41 years of life is that women have mouths and they know how to use them. Just use them for what they're for the right cause.
Right. You get angry enough, you'll find your voice.
Yeah, exactly. I was so proud of the women that, when we cleaned those streets up in D.C. and right afterwards, I swear we went out and there was about 150 of us Proud Boys that mustered up and got together to go take out that element of Antifa. When we mustered up and I looked behind us, we had a sea of patriots just marching behind us. And I got to say, probably 35% of it was women.
Yeah, wow.
That were out. And I've talked to one today, and she was like, I was at a hotel patching up a Marine who had just gotten attacked with his girlfriend. I was cleaning up his cuts, and you guys came marching down the street and stopped in front of the hotel and sang. We sat there, sang the national anthem right in front of the hotel, and she was like, I said, to hell with it. And so she marched through the streets with us the rest of the night. We ended up going up to the Washington Monument, and she was right out there with us. She said, and I never felt safer being out. And she's like, I would never walk the streets of D.C. at night except when you guys were there. We can clear the pathway for women to feel safe again. Number one, to have an opinion.
Right.
Unfortunately, we've got to shift the way women vote, because I'm going to say something right now that it might sound a little offensive to some of the ladies out there, but I saw a graph the other day. If only men voted in this last election, the entire country would have been red.
Yeah, which is
the entire
crazy.
Country would have been red.
And so many people are just like, I'm just voting against a candidate instead of actually knowing what they're voting for. So super frustrated. So I wish people would go out and educate themselves, find their voices. And I really, really appreciate the work you guys are doing and paving the way for people like us so we can actually find our platform and our voices as well.
Yeah, it's gonna take a whole nation to do this.
Yeah, it will.
To make the change, and but yeah, that graph really screwed me up because I'm like,
Come on, ladies.
So I asked a female friend of mine. I said, hey, so and she's super conservative. I said, would you give up your right to vote if you knew, if you could give up your right to vote and all women gave up their right to vote and it went red, what would you do? And she looked at me. She said, I'd give up my right to vote if I knew that it would be, if I knew that it would shift in the right direction, I would give up my right to vote. So what that tells me, we've got to educate more women.
Yeah, we do.
We've got to break them out of the shell of, having to vote the way their girlfriends do, or listening to them say, "Oh, Trump's bad." He grabs women by the, it's.
Yeah. You're like, just show me the evidence.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that you guys can do as women with each other is reach out to each other, is talk to each other, and really try to get in the heads of your friends that are liberals and are brainwashed, unfortunately, that are slaves to this MSM news that tells them this is the way it is. Those days are done of being able to trust the news sources.
Yeah, they are.
I remember when I was a kid, the only you'd have the evening news and then the world news every night, right?
Yep.
And so you'd have an hour total of news per night, and then whatever you read in the newspaper. Now the cycle is 24 hours a day.
It doesn't
Go in
stop.
and get your fix. 24 hours a day. And so unfortunately what that's done is that it has given them more power, and all they want is viewers and clicks. So they'll say whatever outlandish stuff they can, and people believe it.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do as Americans is educate the women of our nation as to which way they should really be voting. So that's where you get out, and that's where you come together. And that's why if you take that term that you've taken, that feminism term, and you steal it, and you use that as a way to get into the, to open them up. You need an opening line. It's like when you're trying to, you're trying to talk to somebody. You see somebody at the bar. You got to come up with a good opening line. Right. And so, yeah, you've got to have that icebreaker. And I think that's a good icebreaker with you guys taking that term back. So that's actually pretty genius. So use it and get out there and really try to make a difference. Because we either got to do one or two things. We either got to educate the female population of the United States as to which way they need to vote, or we got to repeal the 19th. And I don't think you guys want to repeal the 19th.
Yeah,
Amendment.
we'll fight you for it.
We're moving forward, guys.
We'll fight you for it.
No. We're not going to
fight.
fight.
But honestly,
we'll
what
fight
would you
with
do
you.
if somebody gave you that opportunity and said, "Okay, look, you give up your right to vote, but everything's going to go red"? What would you do?
That'd be
It's
really hard.
tough. It's really tough on that one, honestly. I want what's best, and having a husband, like I said, from a communist country, I don't wish that on anyone, because if you go that way, you give up your right to decide what you want to be when you grow up. As simple as that.
Or what you go to the store and buy.
Yeah, so we can always fight to get that right back, but it's going to be a lot harder if we go to a socialist or communist country to get that back.
Yeah, you're right. And that's why we do what we do, because we see the evils of socialism, and we see the evils of what can happen in a communist country.
Mm-hmm.
Enrique, he's the chairman of our organization. His family, his family members were murdered on their farm because they wouldn't allow the communist takeover to use their farmland. So they tied them up and shot them right there on the spot.
Yeah,
that's what communism is, and that's what these idiots that are out there on the street waving their little red flags with their little red bandanas around their mouth don't understand.
Yeah,
they'd be the first ones that would be targeted.
Yeah.
We actually, what's funny, and we talked about that in our podcast that we are getting ready to release. We covered that about how there's just a lack of education of history and the government systems, Marxism, socialism, communism, like all the bad isms that are coming out. Like the ideas sound great, but unless you know how they've gone and what they're really about, then which
Not
is why
just
we
about
have
free stuff.
Yeah.
So educate yourself on that, please.
Yeah, I heard that term. My father is a staunch Republican, And I really didn't know much about politics growing up because, it was funny because I went to the voting booth with my dad when I was young. I said, Dad, who'd you vote for? He said, that's my business.
Mm-hmm.
And, it used to be that way. It's not that way anymore. Everyone knows who you voted for now. But so if you go back to, those times when those people were, when I was younger, one of the key terms I used to hear was communism works on paper, socialism works on paper, but it never works when it's implemented in real life.
Right.
So yes, it sounds great. Yeah, everybody gets the same amount of stuff, right? Until you realize that amount of stuff is very, very small when it's divided up between everyone, and you have no opportunity for advancement. There's zero opportunity for advancement in your life when you live in a communist country.
Exactly.
You are where you're at, and that's where you're going to stay.
You might get a trophy, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll stand in line for shoes and cheese.
Yeah.
That's about where you'll be.
Yeah.
Right.
My husband stood in line like every week for their rations of bread, and if they wanted chicken at the store, but they only had pork, guess what? They were only getting pork because that's what the government had that week. So those are some realities.
That's scary. It's a scary reality.
Right.
I don't want my children and my grandchildren to be forced to deal with that. That's why we fight so hard against these radical left,
Exactly.
commies that are literally trying to. I mean, they're the foot soldiers for the Democratic Party right now.
Oh yeah.
And, it's funny that when we run into them, I had a conversation with one yesterday at the Capitol in Georgia. I pulled him aside and I said, I could see in his eyes that he was just very uneducated. He had no idea why he was there, what he was there. He just said, I'm scared. I see you guys wearing your bulletproof carriers and your armored plates, and I see, because Alex Jones was there and he was driving around in his APC, his armored vehicle. And he's like, I see armored vehicles and Trump flags on these trucks, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's like, I don't see that here, and I'm like, this is Atlanta, buddy. You're still in Georgia. I'm sure you've seen a Trump flag around.
Yeah.
Maybe not in your little echo chamber or your little gentrified neighborhood that you live in, but it's everywhere. In America, there's nothing to be scared of just from that. You could see that the fear was just instilled in these people.
Wow.
They've scared them. Like a Trump flag scares them. They think that they've made it out to be like every Trump supporter is going to jump out, put a noose around your neck, and drag you down the street behind their jacked up pickup truck. That's the Trump supporter. I might have a beard, but I don't even drive a pickup truck. I drive a Lexus.
Yeah. Gosh. Way to go breaking that stereotype. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Look at us go, just a group of us.
No, I mean, I do enjoy a good pickup truck. I just don't drive one.
I've been known to enjoy trucks. They're handy. You go places.
Yes, carry things.
You have a lot more friends when you have a truck because you move things around for you.
That's why no one calls me in my little black car.
But yeah, so I mean, I think what you guys really need to do is get out there and just educate other conservative females. I think that should be, you make that the goal, and if you make that your mission, you're going to help the cause. You're going to help this country because we can shift that vote from whatever it was. I can't remember the amount of women that voted conservative or that voted Democrat this year. If we can shift that just a little bit, we can take that back over. That would affect. It would affect everything. Of course, most of them are coming from New York and California.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of women in like Tennessee or Georgia or whatever,
Texas.
Voting much blue, except for in the cities.
Yeah.
Dallas, Houston, Austin.
Well, every major highway intersection at cities is blue. All the counties. When you look at individual counties, so fishy.
It's scary, and it's all due to the education system.
It is the indoctrination of our youth.
Yep, and we got to start there. And I literally, I think, luckily my daughter, I have an 8-year-old, and she goes to a school in a pretty conservative district.
Yeah.
It's pretty red out there, so I don't really concern myself there. But I remember I went to school in the inner city, and the things I was taught when I got out in the real world, I was like, none of this is adding up. The math is just not there, So I think that's where we start too. And if you can reach out to the youth, the women that are very young, 21 to 25, you reach out to them and really try to like almost big sister them,
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that's great what you guys are doing.
And all the ladies, you have a place here to voice your, whatever your thoughts are, your belief statements,
I just wanted to say, we had some of the ladies commenting, which first of all, I've been watching the chat and I can't stress how amazing you guys are. I just wanted to give a quick shout out that you guys can follow us on Parler at the Conservative Feminists, Feminists with an S. Sherry and I both have individual accounts on there. We also just launched our website, theconservativefeminists.com. We're pretty much on every social platform. Yeah, maybe we don't even know what that is, but we have one. So, like, help us spread the word. Like, Jeremy, we super appreciate you coming on here and putting us in front of a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't have seen us, or like that woman that hopefully she might have checked it out and changed her mind. But yeah, we just really want everyone to come together.
So.
Or at least talk to us. Ask us.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you.
We're all about, educating people that think otherwise. I kind of spent half my morning doing that on Parler. I love me a troll. But
yeah, I'm sure that you're going to get you will get some pushback initially because of the word. So,
well, it is. And we talked about that in the podcast.
Dirty word.
It is. It's such a dirty word right now. The damn dirty left.
I got angry I saw something that was basically saying if you vote to the right, then it's not your own voice. It came from a male. I'm like, oh, hell no. I was like, I got my voice. I got my education. I know my thoughts. And I'm taking this word back because there are conservative feminists out there with their own voice. And that's where this came from.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's awesome. And you kind of, it's like flipping it on its ear, flipping it on the other ear. You take their words and you use them against them, and you use them to further your agenda. So I think that's great. Just don't dye your hair green.
No. Well, first of all, our ladies are, obviously more attractive. They're smarter. They're more level-headed.
Definitely.
Right? So how can we not win with badasses?
Well, I'm telling you, when I tried dating that liberal, it was like a constant. I swear I had to like hold my tongue all the time, and I was like, I want to say, and it was just always this uncomfortable, like kind of like bad smell in the area where I was like, I want to say something, but if I say it, so I don't really hold back. I just say whatever, and so it led to issues, and I was like, okay, well, I guess this probably she decided that it wasn't going to work. I was too extreme.
Nice.
I was too extreme. Too far on the extreme side of my beliefs. And I'm like, I'm really not that extreme. I'm really just kind of right in the center of just good, normal American values.
Right, decent human beings.
Yeah.
How has that become extreme? And I figured out that the reason it's become so extreme, and the reason we're looked at as extremists, is because the left has gone so far off the cliff.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the left and the right, and you got your center. I reside somewhere here in the center, right?
Right.
The left has just gone so far off and dropped down the cliff that it's made us way far right, way far extreme.
You don't even know what normal looks like anymore.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I mean, the balance is off. The spectrum is broken.
Right.
The political spectrum is broken at this point because you don't know where anybody stands anymore. Yeah. And I think letting people know where you stand is important. It really is. It's important. So I just encourage all the ladies out there watching this to follow along and really get involved and definitely make sure that you guys are following the Conservative Feminist on or what's your ad on Parler?
The Conservative Feminists.
Conservative Feminists.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys are following along. Get involved.
Find your voices.
Yeah.
Yes.
And join them with ours. All our conservative ladies.
You guys go check out all the good work that Proud Boys are doing because it's amazing and we're just so thankful for them.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it, and it's different after being in the shadows for so long. And I tried to. I made a. I said something the other day in one of our communication channels. I was like, the days of being afraid that your conservative boss that might find out that you're a Proud Boy, because one of the things Antifa does and the left does is they dox us.
Yeah.
And they try to if they find out where you work, they'll start tagging your job on Twitter, and they'll start sending you calls and emails and everything to your bosses to try and get you fired. And if they find out where you live, if you rent your home, they'll contact your landlord and say, you have Nazis living there.
Oh my gosh.
And that's a tactic they've used against us successfully, I might add.
Yeah.
For a long time, they have caused a lot of drama, a lot of unneeded suffering for guys in our club. And to see conservatives now having our back and not afraid to, now that they've educated, I thank Joe Biden for mentioning us on the debate.
Oh, yeah.
He's recruiter of the year.
Yeah, he is.
For us.
Yeah.
Because literally, conservatives were like, well, if he hates it, then I got to look it up because it must be good.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they looked us up, and they saw what we were really about. Obviously, if you're going to look into us, don't look at Google.
Don't look at
directly to
Wikipedia.
our website.
Right.
Go to proudboysusa.com, and you can see the truth of what we are and what we believe. And that's so that Joe Biden thing that really ramped us up, and I think that kind of slingshotted us into the mainstream. So we appreciate all the support that everyone's been giving us over the past few months or so. It's a different feeling. So maybe it won't be a bad thing to be a Proud Boy anymore.
Right? It's not bad. Be proud.
Yeah. Well, we are. We are. Unfortunately, you can only be proud when your job wasn't on the line.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
So many guys got families. I mean, we're huge on families and children and stuff. And I know guys that have had their livelihoods taken from them. They had to go work at McDonald's and live in a hotel because they lost their house and their job and everything just from this.
That's ridiculous.
Just for being members in this club and being dubbed Nazis. When if you looked at any of our DC footage, you could see that it wasn't all white guys. Sure, there is a lot of white guys in our club, but it's not all white guys.
Mm-hmm.
We've got everything you can think of. Obviously, Enrique's our chairman. He's Afro-Cuban. I know I've got brothers of every color in this club, and from every corner of the club. Just people are starting to do their own research. Yeah. So I think that's great, and they can probably do their own research on you guys too, and figure out what your what your movement is. You might be hated like we were at the beginning.
You know what? That's all right. That's okay.
If you're hated by someone, you must be doing something right. Right?
Yep. Exactly.
That's what I said with Joe Biden. America figured out if Joe Biden hates the Proud Boys, they must be good. Let me check them out.
Yeah.
And when we walked into that march in D.C., I never felt more love or just admiration than when we marched into that. When we first marched into that, the Freedom Plaza where everyone was waiting to take off for the march. It was like we won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was crazy. We were walking in, and like everyone split, and they were just like standing up on the walls, waving flags, cheering for us and screaming. I was like, did we just win a Super Bowl? I looked at Rick and said, did we just win a Super Bowl, man? What's happening here? And it really was. The tides have turned, and I think once we proved this election was a fraud.
Oh yeah.
And it was attempted to be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that they've got it in the bag at this point.
Yeah.
And I believe it was all kind of a psyop, where they were like, all right, let's let them cheat, let them think they win, and then when we drop the proof on them,
oh gosh,
boom,
yeah,
they're going to explode. So I just want everyone to be prepared because the left is going to absolutely explode.
Oh yeah, they will.
Oh yeah, they will. They're going to go
when
crazy.
when it comes down, when they drop the hammer and when they release the Kraken, I'm telling you that the left is going to explode, and it's going to be an all-out. Just be prepared.
Hold on, love
all I
it.
can say.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm
be
ready.
prepared because neighborhoods, they're going to try to, just stomp through neighborhoods and try to burn down anything they can see at that point. So stay prepared, go on the offense, don't stay on the defense.
Awesome.
So
Definitely.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
Jeremy, you have been more than a saint.
We
Today.
adore you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
We
much.
love you. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Anytime. I'll come back on anytime. You guys want me as a regular guest, I'll
All right.
probably come on.
You're in
Awesome.
the
Thank
area.
you.
We'll buy you a beer, margarita, or mimosa. You
Yeah,
know,
I already-
you drink.
I already owe
Mimosas,
you a
yes,
few for
yes.
today. So
Yeah, absolutely. Beer mimosas.
Beer
But
mimosas for
only
everyone.
in the morning.
That's
Only
right.
in the morning. They're the perfect hangover cure.
awesome.
So
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Well,
I've enjoyed it. You guys are great.
Thank
I'm
you.
really excited for what you guys are going to bring to the movement.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll do our best to try and explain to people when they ask about what that is, the conservative feminism.
Nice.
You just got to come up with your taglines and your answers to what
Yep.
because they're gonna immediately hate you and think that you're some green-haired liberal freak.
right?
Yeah. Quite the opposite.
We'll prove them all wrong.
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
Well, I just wanted to give you a shout out. You guys follow him on Parler at NobleBeard. Follow us on Parler and our website and Instagram. Like, let's all link up. And thank you for coming back and
Yeah.
watching on the second attempt at our live stream, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to hang out, online.
Give us a call.
You got to wear your masks though.
I know, right? I know.
No, you can't make me. You can't make me. All right.
All right, ladies, it's been wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Take care. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.